good evening to each and every single one of you, and I hope that you're beautiful. Welcome to ETINCELLE. My name is Gracia, Susuzande. As you know, every single Monday we gather here in order to discuss, amazing topics that can touch your heart, touch your life, trying to enlighten you and possibly bring you out of this place where you feel uncomfortable, or maybe just that you don't even know exactly what's happening with you. So with everything that's happening around the world, we're trying to discuss that so you can receive, you'll break through in a sense. So tonight I have beautiful guests with me, but before I introduce them and before we go deep on the subject of tonight, as we have been talking about the woman in all shades and colors, and it was just beautiful, but we're gonna get to it. All right, so please make yourself comfortable. Make sure that you go to the loo, drink all the water you need to drink, or bring it with you on the table, and make yourself comfortable in order to begin this this talk show. Please tell a friend to tell a friend, and in order to share, so we can get as much people as possible. We cannot be sitting here by ourselves. We need you to connect as much as possible. So see you in a minute. And I hope that you're already with us in order to begin this topic of tonight. So let's get into it. And first of all, before I get into it, I have my beautiful guest with me. A young lady and a lady that you already know. I would not say that she's old or that she's very much young, but she's right in the middle, and she's right and perfect for this topic of tonight. I would like to introduce Apotre Mylene Mudiay. Welcome on the platform.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, happy to have you. How do you feel tonight?
Good.
Yeah, ready to begin?
Mm-hmm.
Labor of smile?
It will come.
Yeah, of course. And so we have our beautiful Emylie Ngongang. Did I say it right?
Emylie Ngongang.
Hey, that's it. Because, you know, she's from Cameroon, and sometimes the name can be a bit tricky. But welcome on the show of ETINCELLE.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. You know.
Thank you so much.
As you know, I mean, this is not the first time to welcome you and to welcome also Apotre on this platform. And it's always amazing to have them because they have this way of touching the public and with their words, all right? Something that, you know, some people cannot always have, in a sense. You know, you always kind of because it's a sensitive subject, you don't want to say so much, you want to hide certain things. But in this particular subject that we're talking about, we're touching the glory of the woman. We're touching the glory of the woman. Why? Because we have been talking about the woman in the past 3 weeks, and only because the month of March is declared as the month of the woman, we want to honor the woman. We want to, you know, praise her. We want to say so much about her because she is beautiful in so much, in so many forms, right? But there's so much more hidden inside the woman itself. And so we talk about how can a woman really, you know, can any woman be called a woman? We spoke about the 3 E's, élever, enfanter, engendrer, which is in French, but it was more about, you know, upbringing, education, and so on. So, and we invited our guest, and Apotre was, you know, among these guests that we welcomed on the phone, and she gave her opinion on that one. And then when we came back, we also spoke about, you know, the core, the heart of the woman. And once again, it was very, how would I say this? Amazing show, which I'm sure yourself you was, and then you as well. So, but tonight, the glory of the woman. How would you define? Who am I starting with?
When I think of the glory of a woman,
Yeah.
I think of, if I'm putting it out there, virginity.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to keep it black and white. I'm going to say how it is.
Okay.
So the glory of a woman is how she portrays herself to the male person, to people around her.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at the glory of a woman, I say of how it determines her as a woman.
Yeah.
And what makes her be a woman is the way she shines.
Mm-hmm.
And her glory could be the way she shines among her peers or among people that are just like her, woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the glory that she has, or the glory that she had, is something very big and precious to every woman. So that's what I think glory is.
It's amazing how you went straight, boom, virginity. Wait, why though? Because glory can signify so much more, apart from just virginity.
I think when I look at glory, I look at it in a spiritual and in a physical way. And in a physical way, it's your virginity, because in a sense, that's your glory. Your body's a temple, and when you do give yourself away, or you do that act, it's you kind of giving your glory, your shine to the opposite sex or whatever. So I think of it in virginity because of the act of giving away what is shining within you.
What is shining within you. I like that. What about you, Apotre? What would you say?
I don't know if I have to go in French, English.
Not feel comfortable, honestly, because ETINCELLE is a platform that welcomes, you know, different kinds of languages. So.
Ok, we will want just to greet you. Je voudrais vraiment saluer tous qui sont en train de nous suivre encore une fois ce soir. Et merci. Merci pour l'invitation. Merci pour cet temps.
It's my pleasure.
Nous parlons de la gloire. La gloire, on commence avec la gloire ce soir. Et oui, la gloire est à la fois spirituelle, mais à la fois physique.
Yeah.
La gloire est matérielle. C'est un mot du latin qui veut dire gloria. Gloria, déjà quand on dit Gloria, on veut exprimer la joie. Lorsqu'on dit Gloria, c'est une expression qui parle de la vie. Et quand on parle aussi de la gloire, on veut parler de ce qui a de la valeur, ce qui a de la pesanteur, ce qui a du poids, ce qui a de l'importance, ce qui a de l'honneur, qui peut être une chose qui se matérialise, qui peut être physique, matériel, financier, mais aussi spirituel. On peut parler de la gloire d'un homme parce qu'il a vécu longtemps. Cette personne a vécu longtemps. Oh, quelle gloire! Gloria. On peut parler de la gloire parce que cette personne a une grande richesse. Les mots qui sont liés à cela sont kabod et on a le mot doxa qui exprime la gloire, La gloire est à la fois chrétien, mais elle est à la fois du côté des mondains, si on doit dire comme ça. Ceux qui n'entrent pas dans l'église, il y en a qui vivent aussi la gloire, parce qu'ils sont peut-être dans une position supérieure, une position d'autorité, la présidence, la primature, toutes ces choses parlent de la gloire. Et donc, dans le mois de la femme, où nous sommes, c'est vrai, Emylie, que je dis merci d'être sur la même plateforme que toi, encore une fois. Il y a beaucoup de choses qui font la valeur d'une femme, beaucoup. Et je pense que nous sommes allés déjà directement au but.
Non, elle ne voulait pas attendre.
Je pense qu'il y a beaucoup de choses qui font la valeur d'une femme, que ce soit dans cette génération, que ce soit dans les générations passées et dans les générations futures. Et parmi l'un des éléments, je pense qu'avec ce qu'ils sont en train de nous suivre, qui peuvent faire l'importance ou la pesanteur ou la valeur d'une femme, on peut citer la virginité. Et donc, je suis de ton côté aussi.
So what she's basically saying that she is also on the side of Emylie for what she has said, but she kind of went a little bit deeper and more like in dictionary, trying to define really what is glory, which in Latin simply means gloria and so on. And so virginity for you, and you give so much more, but you said something. You said there's so many things that defined the glory of the woman, which are?
Her beauty, her health, her smile, her smell, how she presents herself, her authority as well. An authority, a lady can be a dishonor. Her presentation, how she speaks, how she stands in front of people. All these different presentation or manifestation of what a lady can be, yes, can represent or talk about her glory, can talk about her honor. I believe so. This is my belief.
This is your belief.
Yeah.
I like that. The reason why I invited Emylie and then I invited Apotre on the platform of ETINCELLE, especially for this subject, is because I have two different generations. Different generation who express so much things, but completely different, opposite. I would say not completely opposite, but you know what I'm saying. Apotre lived further up and before Emylie, and she lived and she saw certain things that Emylie never saw before. So we are definitely going to get into it. And when it comes to Emylie, it's literally in this generation, and the things that we are seeing is things that we are living currently, and she can define that in her own context. All right, so you mentioned virginity. I mean, let me just ask, really, how difficult is it? How difficult is it to maintain? Let me just get into the subject itself, because this subject is so bright. This subject is so big, and I believe 1 hour of discussion would not even be enough. but how difficult is it really to maintain this glory or this honor in this time?
Well, in this generation, I wouldn't say it was a walk in the park or it's easy. I would say there's a lot of temptations more than there was before, because it's been so socially accepted to lose your virginity or to do the act of sexual intercourse.
Yeah.
And I think in this generation, it's been glamorized in music videos, in movies, and everything that we see in day to day. It's been normalized for us as a generation to be like, sex is not what the Bible says or what our parents say it is. It's just an act that can be done for pleasure.
Just like that, yeah.
And I think to maintain it in this generation would be a quest and a big challenge for many. And talking from a female perspective, I think a lot of the temptations could be our peers, people who are around us, or what we see or what we see in social media that makes it seem like what we're doing, keeping it, is not the right thing. And I think as a generation, there's two sides of the spectrum. There's people who think, no, we need to keep it till marriage as it is always been. Or there's people who are on the other side who don't see the value of sex or the act of sex, and not even looking at it in a spiritual way, but in just normal. It's you going through that act with someone determines more about your character than the act itself.
True.
Because when you go into that act, you don't know who the person is, like, that's spiritually, or you don't know what they encounter. You just know them by their appearance or what they've told you. And when you go through that act, you don't know what could happen in that atmosphere, what could happen with that person. So I think it's more about our generation is too fast and so quick to do things that we don't even know the deepness of it.
That is so true. But what could you add on what she just said? Because she mentioned on the fact that, you know, this generation is going fast. And I don't know if that was the same thing when you were growing up as well, and in terms of speed.
Okay. First of all, for those who are listening to us, I believe the meaning of being a virgin needs to be clarified before we do on what will be the pro or the consequences of losing it. I believe when all women or girls are growing up, one of the very first things in education that they will highlight to them by their parents will be about the virginity. The virginity which doesn't belong only to a lady or a girl, but as well to boys. And this topic will not be talked in the family and take very light. It will be a very important discussion because it is very important. It is valued. Maybe this is why we talk about glory. Okay. So what is virginity? I will want to take it in a very, very, very simple way, definition, not going deep into words or using very strong vocabulary. I will try to be simple.
Yeah.
To be virgin is, for a woman, is still having the what we call in French, le mus. I don't know how they call it in
English.
Lumus.
Lumus.
Yes.
No, I don't know.
It's this very
voile.
This veil. Yeah, let's use the word veil that we all born with from the birth and protect the outside of the vaginal area of a lady. And on the boy's side, that will be just the fact that this one never went in a relationship, never had an intercourse.
Intercourse, yes.
I will not know what goes to their side to talk about
yes, of course,
losing virginity. But from our perspective, coming from us as women, as girls, and for those who are listening to us, this veil that you called is very important. And I believe this is what make a woman, what make the girl, what make her. And that what she hide, that's what she's hiding, and she is called to take care of until she meets with the very first man of her life to whom she wants to give her life or live with. So this veil is very important. Okay?
Yeah.
So losing virginity, coming now from where you are going, comes from different manifestation around you. There are some ladies, some girls who lost their virginity through an accident. Some of them lost virginity by doing this very strong exercise when they're doing gym.
Splits.
Yeah, and you can
False
lose
hiding.
that veil because it's so light and it's so thin that if it gets destroyed, you are losing your virginity because it's stopping anything to enter because it's not inside, but it is outside. Outside your vagina. Your vagina is very sensitive, very sensitive. And you can lose it through that way.
I mean, losing the veil, not the
veil,
virginity.
No, that, as soon as you lose it, you are completely no more virgin. And and the third one is by having now a relationship with someone who will completely be able to destroy this veil.
The veil.
And that's why I said many girls think and can believe that they are losing it only when they get the interaction with a man. This is why sometimes in a very old time, there are mothers who will want to know if the girls in the house are still virgin before they get married.
How do they do that?
You go at the hospital and they will test you.
I mean, that you mentioned right now there are mothers who do that, who do check that, the what's it called, their daughters. I mean, there are different kinds of. From what I've also heard is that sometimes mothers do check their what's it called, their daughters at home.
I will not know about that one, but it's something which happens.
Okay, yeah.
Now, there is as you said, this topic is very wide. There is a lot to say. However, yes, this is what I can start by saying or add on what Emylie is saying. And this needs to be known because there is this gym or dance, how do you call ballet dance?
Yeah.
The ballet dance is one of the reasons as well how a girl can lose her virginity. Yeah. Okay. Anything can happen. Even those girls to whom they teach to bath using their fingers can cause this veil to completely get, destroyed as well. There are many and many reasons how someone, a girl, can lose her virginity. Yeah.
Now, we were talking about the speed, right?
And in this generation, coming from the perspective of this generation is very fast. But I will not say only them are fast, because in the old generation as well, we had stories about what is happening in ladies or girls' situation about losing their virginity. It's not about just being fast. We talk about those who has been raped.
Yeah.
We talk about those who have been having a very bad experience with a member of the family. Child abuse, friend abuse. Around this area
absolutely,
as well, we can have a problem in this generation as much as the old generation faced. The only difference is the media. The power of this generation is the media.
That is so true. And then I actually had a conversation with someone in terms of the media, how it is really influencing this generation in terms of, you know, the images that we see, the publicity that we see, the what's it called, music that we listen, and you mentioned it just now. And so my question to both of you is, can we blame it really onto the media of how it is sexualizing, you know, everything in nowadays? Can we?
I'm just thinking when you said music videos and so on, it's in a sense that's what society wants to do, because they know the best way to catch someone or someone to buy their product or to watch their video is to sexualize specifically women. Men can be sexualized, but not to the extent women are. And I feel like everywhere you will go, you will see either a woman in a bathing suit or in something that is showing more skin than you would see on other people.
Absolutely.
And it's because that's how to gain your publicity or gain your money or your revenue. So if that's how you're going to make it, it's going to be glamorized to younger audiences. And I feel like in this day and age, younger audiences have more access to media than you would in the past generation. So it's more like from a young age they're exposed to things that they wouldn't be exposed to if media wasn't so prevalent and so active, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. What would you add on this one? She came prepared. I like that.
No, the problem is not being prepared. It's making points as well. When we talk about the old generation, we will still have media, okay?
Yeah.
We still watch TV, we're still on the radio, and everything that we see today was still there.
Okay. Exactly the same?
It was there.
Okay.
Our parents knew that pornographic movies exist. We had ladies exposed sometimes in adverts as well. We will watch that on TV. The only difference with this generation, talking about our context, we are in Europe.
Okay.
We are not in Africa. We are not in other places. We are talking about us here. And it seems like we are concentrating our talk about what we are facing here. The only difference between those generations is the fact that parents around that time will follow what the kids are watching. No kids will have his own mobile. We never knew that. We never had, I have my phone, my brother has his mobile. We never knew all this. This generation from the age of 10 or maybe even 8, not even 2.
2?
Because I can see some young kids with their mobile.
Oh, yes,
already
true.
they're trying to manipulate or to use a mobile. Not only a mobile, even the laptop. They have small
Where they're just watching the
laptop, exactly. They're learning how to use it in this generation. From that age, already a child has a mobile.
Yeah.
And there's so many things happening with that this technology, this phone, there are so much we are learning on our own just using the mobile. In my generation, around that time, we never had that. There were only one phone at home. It will ring, the parent will call the call, pick up the call, and they will want even to know to whom are you talking to, because you are not called to talk to strangers.
It depends also on the timing, I believe.
Yes, so today we can stop to 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning watching movies while the parents are not with you, looking at what you are watching. We never sat down like that. Around a certain time, 10 p.m. already, we are all in our rooms sleeping. This has disciplined us and educated us a little bit. So yes, this generation is tremendously very fast.
Would you say that it's corrupted?
I will say it's corrupted. Even the Bible said this generation is corrupted.
Definitely
we
corrupted.
We are all corrupted. We wanted it or not. We are corrupted.
Can I ask a question? Did you ever had this time whereby you sit down, I mean, your mom especially, because they always say the mom is the ones that holds the house, the mom is the ones that educates, because the dad needs to go to work and so forth. But when it comes to your mom, has she ever sat down with you and then had this conversation? And when it comes to the virginity, for example, I mean, you're glowy, and it kind of explains to you, you know, how it goes.
Sorry, Mum. But basically, I feel like I was talking earlier with a friend. I was saying, in this generation with our parents, there's certain things that we keep black and white with our parents, and there's certain things we will openly say to them. And I feel like it's not because we don't want to tell our parents, but it's because of how we know our parents will react. And I feel like in this, with our parents, it's a thing where our parents want us to be like the child who doesn't do anything or step out of line.
The holy child.
Yeah, but then when we do, they look at us in a different way, or they think of us in a different way. So it's like we always know that our parents will not willingly judge us in a way like they will judge us openly, but it will be like they won't look at you the same because they see sex as such a big thing. You wouldn't walk around the house and have a conversation with your mum, oh, mum, this happened with this boy. But it's a thing where it's because of what we know, and especially in the African community, which I'm in, it's like there's certain things you wouldn't share with your mum, and there's certain things you do. And there's that thin line where sex is just like, it comes up, but it's not like we'll sit down on the sofa, have a full-blown conversation. It's more like it will chip in, but it won't be on, I want to have a conversation about sex with you and talk to you about the importance and all that. It's more like, have you done it? If not, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that just shocked me. What about you, Apostle? Like, when it comes to education, because we, I mean, in my timing, when going to school, we used to have, you know, biology, what's it called, lessons and so on. So they kind of explain to us the body of the woman, the body of the man. Sometimes not even, you know, going too deep on certain things. But don't you think that this is something so essential for the mother, who is the housekeeper, who is the educator, to sit down with a child and have a conversation as big or as sensitive as virginity?
There is this word we use, taboo, that we have in all culture, in all society. And there are certain conversations which are taboo, which means you don't talk anyhow. You don't even, you as the child start, or maybe the parent will not come to you such and start telling you about, no, it will not come this way. However, the more we are educating ourselves, talking about this generation, where we are integrating in a certain way in the European, or let me use another word which can look, which can give me a test that I'm looking for to make it as, because if I use European, it will be as if as African we are not doing things correctly.
Okay.
While it's not really about that. It's just about how we have been educated in our respective families, and how we are growing up in our family to know now how to talk with our kids when we become parents in our turn, and not make the same mistake as our parents did, to not to lose our children.
Okay.
And talk about very important matters, very important topics, which can secure the child. And it will be like an advice for me toward those who are listening to me now, that it will be compulsory for them to change maybe the way and approach their kids, and start the conversation, start talking about that. There is always an approach. There is always a way to do it. I talk with my kids. I never talk with my kids. We talk about certain things. I find it very strange how the young can say that we are scared to talk to our mothers. Why will you not come toward her and start as well the conversation? Sometimes to judge someone from the outside is not good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no matter.
Yeah.
Mother or not mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the young of this generation as well, they need also to come halfway, to meet with the parents and start talking about something which can trick them. Yes, I believe so.
You mentioned just now, I just you just mentioned now that there is a method that used to take place, you know, in your generation, and how your parents used to come and talk to you about things that matters. Which are this methods?
Initiations.
Sorry?
They will initiate you.
Initiate you. Sorry, be a bit more...
L'initiation.
D'accord.
They will, in the village, they can make you sit down with elders.
Okay.
With mothers. In the book of Esther, we saw the ladies with those who take care of young girls to teach them things. They will show you what to do and not to do. And before starting doing that, they have to start telling you and speak to you about what is happening around your sex life. And they talk, sitting down together, eating on a table. This is why they've introduced much in the African culture to sit down together on a table. So that creates a family environment and security to allow a talk, to allow to discuss about very important things. Apart from that, do things together. Do things, go do shopping with your young girl and talk.
On the way,
to talk with your boy or your girl and discuss about silly stuff. To reach the level of you know, the concern of this child and the questions.
Does it seem to you a little bit more familiar to what a mother in your generation could possibly do? For example, I mean, she just mentioned, you know, going for a walk somewhere, or I don't know, sit down with probably aunties and mothers and so on. Have that. Have you ever had that conversation maybe with your friends or so on, maybe like this is what happened to one of your friends? Or do you think that is kind of similar to your generation, for example?
I think it's like Apostle said, it's where they're trying to do what their parents did, but in a new and fresh way for us to adapt to it. And I think it takes time. It's not going to happen as soon as possible. Like if they're going to adapt to what we see as normalities and what we can relate to or talk about, it's going to take time, because our generation, like we said, it's fast. We move quickly. The way we like to approach things can be different every single time. So me personally, it's a thing where you build that relationship, you carry on building it till the doors open, where it's more laid back, it's more the conversations will start flowing. Because if you just slap it on the table and say, are you a virgin, or are you doing this, are you doing that, you as a child, personally, I'll feel hostile, and I wouldn't want to, because I feel like I'm put on the spot and I need to say it. Whereas if we're building up to it, it'll be more like I'm talking to my mother, or I'm talking to my auntie, or I'm talking to my best friend, or it's more about I'm having a conversation with you without me thinking of the consequences.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I like what you just said right now. Apostle, you mentioned, I mean, as we're talking about virginity, we say like it is honor, right? It is something pure. It is something it's so great, especially back in the day. I mean, it's still now, depending on the culture. And you mentioned it right, and it's absolutely correct. Why is it so important? Why is it so important to keep the pureness of yourself? I mean, it's true that some of the girls, as you mentioned right now, stated that some of them loses the veil in so many ways, but sometimes they don't even know. So for them it's like, okay, the act needs to happen and so on. But why is it so important?
Before going to the why,
yeah,
it's very rude to ask someone, are you a virgin?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is rude. Therefore, I will agree with the Bible, coming from the context of God, that parents, don't irritate your kids. Don't irritate them. And sometimes, we irritate them maybe with the approach, how we ask the question, or how we come. We are so curious to know and why, what is happening over there, you know. And it is rude, not only from the parents' perspective, but it is rude to ask someone, are you a virgin? It is rude to think that this person can be or not a virgin. Again, I found it very disgraceful.
Okay.
Very disgraceful.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Just to add on what she was saying
earlier,
yeah. On the question, you said the question was about
why
is it
is it so important?
I mean, when God created you, He created you so special. He created you as a woman. And He said, whosoever found a woman found happiness. We're coming from proverb, yeah?
Yeah.
So every man in this world who has a woman found his happiness.
Any woman?
Let me go on my...
Yeah, because we need to discuss this. Any woman?
This woman that I'm talking about is not the one who comes now in the world and is messed up.
Okay.
I'm talking about this pure woman to whom they gave birth to and who is growing up now. She's growing up with all the beauty that she has. Beauty is not about the face. Beauty is about the heart of this person.
Okay.
The heart of this woman is not specifically the heart, is what she has.
So it's still...
And the lady, what a very pure and beautiful woman has, is her virginity.
Okay.
It's not the external beauty, it's the internal beauty. So when they say that a man who found a woman, it's not about the beauty, the face.
Yeah.
It's about what he found.
Can I contradict you? Can I contradict you? I mean, not contradict you in a sense, but, you know, there's been women out there who have kept their virginity, I mean, really, to the marriage, if I can say, and got married and had children and so on. But the heart was absolutely evil, even though they've kept their virginity. And then,
do you know that there is no man?
Yeah.
Il n'y a pas d'homme qui ne trouve pas de satisfaction quand il est avec une femme. Le plus grand plaisir d'un homme.
Can you say this in English? So, okay.
There's no man. Some sentence will only sound good if I say that in French.
So there's no man who doesn't find satisfaction.
If he is now with a woman.
Okay.
Le plus grand des plaisirs d'un homme.
The most greatest.
Quand un homme regarde la beauté d'une femme, c'est pas vrai quand il regarde son visage.
Yeah. No, I hear you, but what I'm trying to... Okay,
because I don't just want to use certain words.
Yeah.
La beauté d'une femme se trouve dans ce qu'elle possède.
True.
La beauté d'une femme se trouve dans ce qu'elle a. La plus grande des choses qu'une femme a, c'est ce qu'elle a. Et ce qu'elle a, c'est sa virginité, parce qu'elle est née avec. La plus seule chose l'une des choses que Dieu donne à la femme, c'est la virginité et le lait. L'homme n'a pas de lait et l'homme n'a pas l'humus.
Ok.
Ces deux choses nourrissent l'humanité, nourrissent l'homme. Une femme qui n'est plus vierge est prête à concevoir. Et lorsqu'elle conçoit, elle peut donner le lait. Ok? Et c'est ça la beauté de la femme. Maintenant, dans le monde, elle devient victime. Et elle peut être victime de différentes sortes de situations. C'est pour ça, depuis le début, we talk about those then qui ont été raped, who had bad, situation, who has been unlucky. Yeah.
Well, we also have women who are born, I mean, someone said, I mean, in one of the, not even a conversation, but, you know, sometimes when you're trying to educate yourself, this video, it says, like, when you give birth to a child, you don't give birth to their heart, in a sense. Like, you don't really know the heart of your child until the child really grows up. So we have, you know, children who are definitely born with a virginity. I mean, girls especially, as we just mentioned, and we're talking about women, but the heart of a woman is sometimes like you don't really know it until this child grows up. So now, let's just say that this child kept her virginity, you know, to the marriage to honor her parents, but her heart is not in its right place. I mean, when I'm talking about it in terms of it's not good, is more like evil. So this men who intend to marry a virgin, but it actually with an evil heart, is this man not going to be unlucky somehow?
You are mixing, I think you are mixing women's here, and...
I mean, I'm talking about the woman, in general,
this
woman, yeah, not just the good or the bad.
Becoming bad is another topic as well. I believe we become bad because of what we see. She said about media, you give birth to a child now, this child is growing up now. Yeah. It's not growing up only in the house. Is growing up also from the outside. Friendship, media, and all this stuff are also elements which can affect the education of this child. This is why it's very important to talk with your parents, to have a conversation with parents. We spoke about tools, what we can do to avoid this, sitting down together, being more friends, talking, you know, destroying barriers, which can be, you know, a problem to talk about certain topics to allow the progress of the child. Now, if this lady has a very bad heart, but she kept her virginity, that's another case. That's another case. Virginity is something everyone has. That's what we are all born with. To be bad or good, we are born like that. And this is our beauty. But this lady can change if she found a good man.
Can she really?
Because you cannot know that this person is bad. I mean, unless she's evil and living with evil people.
I mean, for
this will be the evil side of things.
This is a debate,
so
actually.
So that will be now an impact of evil, moving on in evil area. I'm not in the evil side. We're talking about, I mean,
No, this is a debate in a sense because, we can say so much when it comes to an evil heart and really a good person. I mean, a good heart in a sense, so we can definitely discuss on that. But when it comes to, you know, this generation, like talking about actually temptations, can you name the temptations that, you know, a child or a young girl can actually face? Because the reason why I'm asking this is because I met a long time ago a young lady who's now probably older than me, and then we were talking about the subject actually of virginity, and her experience is that she kind of lost it quite young, 14, and that's because someone besides her told her that it was not important. You know, it was not important, and this is how she never really took it, you know, in its own value, how it's supposed to be really. So in this generation, apart from the media, temptations, can you name some?
Like the lady has said, it's, you could say your peers, the people who are around you, the people who surround you. Instead of them guiding you in the right path, they will be the type of people to say, sex is nothing. It just happens. It doesn't matter. It has no weight to it. And those are the same people who will tell you when you do it that if you do it again, it's not going to happen. Like, it's still the same act, it's same act. So one of the temptations that many people and many young women face is peers. And if we're talking about a young woman, it can be the boy itself. The boy itself could be a temptation because they're going to put themselves in a position or say some things to you or do things to you to make you feel like sex, whatever acts we're going to do, it's not going to matter because I love you, or they will sell you dreams, and that can be a temptation because you don't know the true heart of someone. Like I've said before, you never know the true heart. They could just sell you words, sell you dreams, and you fall into the temptation.
Absolutely.
And another temptation could just be yourself. You yourself, you're defying your own heart. Your heart is telling you don't do it, but your head and everything around you and how you feel yourself, and you're growing, you're going through puberty, you want to experience, you want to explore your body, you want to see what you can do, and it leads you to the point where the first thing you think of is sex, or like any type of sexual act, because you want to explore what your body can do. And many people in this generation think, if I do it, I'm going to be better for the man I'm going to marry or the woman I'm going to marry. Many men will sell dreams to women saying, I'm going to have sex with you because I'm going to marry you. Because many young women in this generation try to keep it, but there's always that little voice saying, do it, do it, do it. And it could even be your best friend or someone you consider a lover or anything.
Yeah.
It's very hard because they can trap you and lead you to your downfall.
Any words, Apostle, onto what you
I'm
just said?
always adding on what you
No,
say.
yes, because I
I'm
felt
just
like
adding. I'm
yes.
I'm adding.
Yeah.
The very first one I want to add is, they say les mauvaises compagnies corrompent les bonnes mœurs.
D'accord.
Who accompany you in your daily life. Those can be people who are infecting you with conversations, ideas. What we see, what we hear can really affect our daily life, change our way to see things, and disvalue what we value. Okay. The second things I can talk about, your family environment. If your family environment is as well infested, this will create a gap, a door to allow you to run away from your house, where you are called to be really educated and have a very strong foundation. For those who are living or who has been living in a house of fight, an environment that you can see the father always beating the mother, insulting, there's no security. Insecurity can push you to find security outside. And sometimes you become victim of it. Just because you want to feel secure. And strangely, it happened that, yes, it seems like as if we found that security is always somewhere for two reasons. Bad spirit, but as well,
Life, okay.
You will meet with a boy or a man who will be looking at you and be like, why are you sad? And then you'll be like, oh, I feel like he's caring. He cares. Why will you talk about cares? Because there is none at home. Because you already feel insecure.
I agree.
This is something we need to consider. That's why it was advised to parents, especially here in Europe, not to argue in front of the kids.
The kids, of course, yes.
You better find places and how to discuss about your problems. Because people or young of this generation, they think fast. And because they have there's no relationship with their parents. It's a big gap. The third one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to end.
Yeah.
Which can be a very strong temptation to add to what she's saying. Temptation. In us, there is two things, the good
and the bad. Okay.
No matter be Christian or not, being born again or not, be outsider or insider, we have a side of us which is good, but the other side as well is bad. So that's why I was arguing with you saying bad person. Anyway, we all bad as well. So ourselves can become as well a temptation. You can grow up in a good family, but what you are doing is completely different than what your parents are teaching you.
Absolutely.
I know kids who are expressing what they never saw in the family. And the parents will even cry and be like, I never done that. How come my child is doing it? I never. Have you ever saw a parent who doesn't drink, but the child drink? Where does it come from? Never smoke, but the child smoke. Where does it come from? You know, yourself. If only you can now start developing what is good for you and what is not. And talking about virginity, value yourself.
Value yourself.
Value yourself. You're not getting married to honor your parents.
Yeah.
You're getting married to honor first you.
Yourself.
Parents are accompanying you in that journey. The person who will enter that house is not your dad, not even your mom. They are doing their side of things. They will teach you, talk to you, educate you, show you what to do. And again, even if they teach you, there are certain things you will never know until you are inside to know what to do and not to do.
Absolutely.
Certain experience our parents had, when they look at your marriage, they're like, we never faced this situation. You have to be yourself.
The reality of certain things.
The reality, and make sure you face that situation. Now, you ask me the question, why is it important to be so virgin? It is important because when you reach now that level, your husband now will start giving you value.
All right.
He will start respecting you accordingly to how he finds you. This is why there is fight. Very young, they want to divorce. This one was still not a virgin. Experience with other people, unless you meet with a very good person who doesn't mention that. I mean, most of them already, when a man knows that you've been having
around,
relationship, even if he doesn't tell you, but when he's alone outside, there is a day.
They will think about it.
They will think about you in a very different way.
What way, Mama? Because
and this is why the why to keep the value
is important.
Because at least you can say you didn't get me in a very certain way. So give me at least this respect. It is important because God created us. You know why He has put this in a woman. The third one, which is more spiritual, and I will just pass by, and I will come out. The blessing of a house comes from the virginity of the lady.
Okay.
A man who found his wife a virgin will prosper more and fast.
Did you hear that?
And come out of this.
We are talking about money here. It's no more about. Okay, it's money.
I just stop here. And you need to bring me back to talk about now the topic.
Yeah, of course. Talking about, education, especially in this country, as we find ourselves in La Diaspora, we find ourselves in England, and there's so many things that are going around. And so from what I've heard, and which is really quite shocking to me, is that sex education is being taught in school very, very, very young. What do you have to say about it not as an apostle, but really as a mom?
An educator, teacher. Now it's wrong. At a very, very, very young age, sex education has different levels. So when we talk about sex education, we need to know what level are we talking about. For sure, your young boy and your young child, the more you are buffing them together, or even when they are playing together, I don't know how they can define that this one has a different appearance than mine. I don't know how they do it. I don't know.
Me either.
Aha.
Me either. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And certain child are very aggressive at a very, very young age.
Yes.
Even if it's not taught to them at school, they teach themselves. Because they are very precoce. They want to know themselves. They want to understand what they have. And I will talk about boys. Ladies can, ça peut encore passer. They start getting very curious when they start feeling that the breast is coming out. Something is changing.
Yeah.
And I start having some hair. This is where the girls start like,
wait, what's happening?
What is happening? Something is happening. But the boys, since when they give birth to them, they move.
They definitely, yes.
They move. They have their own way to be boys.
Spice it up, yeah.
So, but it's wrong that in a certain level, when we talk about intercourse, sex relationship, how will I stand up with a child and start telling him what to do and not to do? Around that time, around that area, no, I think this is too early.
It's messing with their mind and really putting them in a place where they shouldn't. What about you? Like, imagine like you have your little brother coming to you and start telling you, or even telling you what they've been,
I think the education system has been corrupt for a while. So when they do things like sex education in year 6, it's not a shock, because it's like we said, this generation is fast, and it's not only what they want us to hear, but it's implemented into our brains. We wouldn't, if we were to be homeschooled or anything, we wouldn't learn about sex education. We would have to go out of our way to learn about it if we had outside of school friends. But you come to lesson and all of a sudden it's telling you how mummy and daddy made you. And it shouldn't be like that, because that is, not that it's a taboo, but from such a young age, it's not something that should be openly spoken about to such a young age. Year 6, you're 11, 12. Nothing has developed on you yet. Nothing is working on you. You're just getting to that stage. Now, from year 6 to year 7, you're going to secondary school. You've learned about sexual education. Now you're learning about biology. Now you're learning about all these other things. It's just adding up to then people losing their virginity in year 9 when they're 14 years old.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, if I'm getting educated about it, why is it bad then? If it's nowhere in sex education does it say, when you're married, you do this act. They just say it's a sexual intercourse. And it's not how it's supposed to be.
Absolutely. That's not exactly how it's supposed to be. And for that, I want to take this time to actually greet each and every single one of you, Berlo Nadia, Daniela Bila, for really being present. I'm talking about Blanche Panzou, Ministre Hélène Daldine, for really connecting. Thank you. Continue to put your comments down, and if there's any question for you to ask, as we have our beautiful Emylie and Apotre Mylene in order to give you the answer that you need, always feel free. The line is open. The line is open for you to ask these questions. And so my question to you now, like, you live in a generation where everything is fast-paced, and it seems like you have a different kind of mindset compared to so many people of your generation or even your community. Like, how would you advise someone next to you who the mind is literally, a little bit corrupted, if I may say?
I will never, for example, I will never judge someone who's lost it. Or judge someone who's thinking of losing it. I just speak on what I know, and what I know is that it's not a big deal. I'm turning 18 this year, and it's not like I'm going to die because I haven't done it. And it's not affecting me in any way, but just making me stronger. And I feel like the fact that there's someone out there who is doing it or not doing it, don't look at yourself differently, but change. Like, if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to tell you to change your life, but in a sense, like we've been talking about, the glory, the honor, and the pureness, at the end of the day, you're not doing it for us or the people sitting here. You're doing it for yourself. So don't be thinking, oh, because I watched this, I'm going to change. Think on your own accord. If you think that your virginity is something that now you want to take control of and you are the person in control of it, own it. Be the person who doesn't follow trends. Be the person who sets their own pace. Be the person who looks at their peers who are doing these acts and be like, that's not my portion, and carry on stepping, because you can do it. Many people are doing it. Don't see yourself, oh, because I've done it, I have to do it again and again. Change. We change every day. We change for the better or for the worse. And I just say do it for the better, because life is for living, but not to that extent.
I like what you're saying. Apostle, earlier on the show you mentioned, that there's been women who, have had accident by losing it and so forth. And there's also girls or, young ladies who have lost it purposely or even by peer pressure. But now do regret the action of losing it. As now, not just a mother, now I'm talking to an apostle, a woman of God. How can this woman who have lost it and feel really desperate, in need of getting it back, is it even possible? That's the first question. Is it even possible to get it back? I mean, you're a woman of a doctor, so I don't know if this is... Is it possible to get it back?
Scientifically speaking, no.
Okay.
Unless you go for an operation.
Operation, yeah.
As you said, technology is going very fast. And in my knowledge, they can still tide you.
I mean, the veil is quite thin.
We are sitting here, we have different traditions. And I like the way you bring your topics, but again, there is a lot to say. And we're not touching all area, although it looks like we're doing.
Yeah.
Because we have many different traditions, cultures. People are living not only in a civilian area, but we have the village one, the urban area.
They're not civilized.
Civilized, yeah, you use civilian, the urban area, the suburban, and and all these, this area where things also are seen in a very different way. In my tradition, from my mom's side, it's possible to bring back to close that area of your life.
Whoa. It's possible?
I said in my mom's side.
In your we need to go there. Ladies.
And again, I don't know if those practices are still available. Because if you take a flight and go Africa, in villages, they will tell you stories and things about what they are doing with those who has lost or not the virginity.
Listen, ladies, all I'm saying is in Africa you can find anything. So if they still this practice, we need to search it for those who have already lost it and feel absolutely lost in it.
Yeah, but I will not advise no one to go Africa because this will be a very painful process.
Good luck.
Okay. Secondly, and spiritually speaking, it's about your conscience.
Your conscience, okay.
When they say you can recover, you can be restored, it means that first, try to keep yourself and protect yourself. Stop going here and over there. Because the more you are doing it, you are not helping yourself.
Are you talking about celibacy? I mean, celibacy meaning keeping yourself for yourself until the marriage, even though you've lost it.
Keep yourself. Why not? It is possible to do it. Okay.
Is this going
I was young.
Okay.
I was young.
Yeah.
I grew up with young girls. We've been talking about many things as well. But I kept my virginity until they married me. I got married, I was 22 years old. And today I'm 15. for 20 years, days, every single day, and years. That's the only man I know. But I'm proud of myself. I know. I'm very proud, not because I have money that I don't have. I have my beauty. And my beauty is what I have given because I wanted. Okay? I could have kept it as well.
Yeah.
But I will say, God can restore you. I believe in miracles. I heard stories of ladies who has been restored because they ask God. If you ask God to do it, He can do it. By the time you go with this man, it will be as if it is really the very first day. First, you are not called to keep on talking about your virginity or not. We do not want to know if you are virgin or not virgin. This is your private life. You are feeling guilty because you're hearing things around you a lot. Come on.
I mean,
people make mistakes as well.
True.
People have situations that you will never go behind and change it. So you cannot live with guiltiness.
So how can because as a pastor, I believe you have something what you called a cancellation,
yeah.
right? Is it something that the women in those cases need to do in terms of freeing their mind and maybe talking to someone in order to release what has been holding them for so long, in order to take away the guiltiness?
If someone wants to talk about that and feel secure with the person with whom she's talking to, because you don't just talk to someone because you need to release yourself.
Absolutely.
I heard stories. I have secret of people losing their virginity, or maybe the parents even don't know. But it's not my calling to go and start telling this parent, you know what. No. Pastoral, they call it pastoral care.
Absolutely.
Pastoral care is this area of pastors who have counseling. They know those who are preaching on the altar, but those who know how to speak with someone, sit down, listening to you for all the hours you want them to listen to you, and then when you finish, they cry with you, they pray with you, and they let you go. Yeah, you can do it. It can be one of the therapy, but don't feel guilty because you lost your virginity.
I mean, talking about guiltiness is also for the ones who got forced into this field of losing it. If I, you know exactly what I mean when I say forcing, and so they wanted to keep it, but unfortunately, so now. This has caused them, to be physically unable for so many things, maybe not be able to have children anymore. Some of them, like, there was, some damage, has been caused, and this has led them for being so bitter, in a sense. Consequences, yes. So I believe counseling is the right.
It is. It's one of the very big therapy. It's good to talk and release yourself, but again, free your. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself and still give value to who you are. After all, you have not lost everything. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
There's
yet.
still
just
hope.
Because you know what? I want to be silly.
Yeah.
The fact that you are dressing up every day and no one seeing you. Without, naked. How do you say that?
Naked.
Naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big value.
Say that again. The fact that you're dressing up and no one is seeing you naked is a great value. Wow. It needs to sink in my head.
Hope.
There's still hope. So keep on dressing up yourself in your room and make sure that no one sees you, until you get exactly what you're looking for. If it's marriage, of course. Apostle, I have a question for you before we go towards the end of our show. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, not even I say friend, who we were discussing exactly on this topic, and then there is someone that the person know who still is virgin, right? We're still virgin. But unfortunately, this person has been going around. No, okay, when I say going around, that's not the right word. But the person didn't do what they're supposed to do, all right? Instead of, being intimate in a right way with, a female, he still kept his virginity, but has done other things. So now my question to you is, does it mean that this person is still virgin? Because we have so many followers on social medias, and I believe there's going to be many other more watching us who are asking themselves, who are very much confused, because that's the word that they use, confusion. I don't know, am I still virgin? Am I not? Because I know that I haven't had intercourse with a female also, but I've done this. So what is it? So my question,
let me help you.
Yeah.
You want to make me answer you about someone who never had an interaction, with a sex interaction, but are doing sexual activities.
Other things. Is this person still a virgin or not?
I'm waiting for the reply.
And this goes for ladies and males, so yeah. Apostle, I'm waiting for the answer.
You say that this generation is going so fast.
Too fast.
They are going so fast that sex is no more about having an interaction.
Yeah.
So when we enter the area of sex today, it's about the mouth. It's about a lot of things after.
Lots of things.
So,
toys and so on.
if you ask my mom, who's 70 years old today, and ask for this question, she might answer, no, the person is still virgin.
Okay.
But if you ask me, who's living in this generation, and between them and her, I will say it's 50-50.
It's 50-50.
Because this one still know a lot about sex.
Okay.
And coming from their perspective, this one just need an action now to confirm is déviergé.
Yeah.
But in his head or her head, il est complètement déviergé.
Okay.
Ce n'est plus un vierge. Pourquoi? Parce que la tête est souillée. Les pensées sont souillées. Tu n'as pas d'interaction, mais tu te masturbes. Tu fais des choses qui ne te glorifient pas. Les toucher. Et tout ce que vous pouvez citer si tu vas, parce que c'est toute une science, le sexe.
Absolutely.
Because we need to be honestly understand that we are no more in the old time.
Generation.
We are now.
Yeah.
And in now, on parlera de la sexologie. So if you enter sexology, they will give you all the different branches of sexology. So someone like this is not virgin fully.
Yeah. So to conclude, this person is 50-50.
I will say 50-50. 50-50. I still need to sit down with the person.
Yeah.
And I still need to ask God to reveal to me how He will call that.
Yeah. Because we still have 14-year-old boys who do watch movies that they're absolutely not good, corruption, but still call themselves virgins. So then again,
physically speaking, don't get me wrong, and I don't want to be misunderstood.
Yes.
Physically speaking, virginity,
technically, physically speaking,
he is or she is virgin.
This person's still a virgin.
Yeah. Because,
but the mind
is full of information, and because of what we are living today, the man will push his desire to do what he sees. This is how they lose now their virginity, the glory, the power, because this is power. Yeah. This virginity is power. Going further, it's even used in witchcraft. It's used, even the Bible says, God will say, virgin people will be sitting with him in heaven. The virgin in Apocalypse, in Revelation. So virginity is very important. It's because we're not in a spiritual...
Yeah, of course, yes.
Otherwise I could have given so much
more,
about the virgin girls.
What about you, Emylie, of what I just mentioned to Apostle? Do you get that a lot in your generation in terms of like, you know, a corrupted mind, definitely, but, you know, they're still virgin, but have done so much, or maybe like, you know, because we're different type of canals in our body and so on, but it's like the first one that we know, it hasn't been touched, but any other areas has been touched. How do you react to it?
I think it's more about the person itself and how they react to it.
Okay.
Because if they're doing them act, and the only reason why they haven't gone to the next level, which is sex, is because there's been a situation or something, it's because of their accord, and it's not because they're willing to do something. Because as Apostle said, is if you have the knowledge, what's stopping you going to the full bit? It's just it's like there's an anomaly. There's something wrong in the equation that's not allowing you to do what you need to do to complete the act of virginity. And I think we're confused is because it's never been made clear that sex equals blah blah blah, everything that isn't actual sex. Because in our minds, in our generation, although we move fast, the only thing that's seen as a sin is sex.
Yeah.
Because that's all we see is like, oh, be celibate till you're married, or so on. But we don't know when they mean celibate. It's in every aspect in sexuology, as Apostle said. It's more if a man hasn't inserted his or his thingy in me, then I'm not doing it right.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, it's peer pressure as well.
Yeah.
If someone who you're talking to or your friends are saying, oh, because you've done this, you're not a virgin, you're on the same level as us, you in your head is like, oh, I'm not a virgin anymore, I've lost my honor, I've all this, but like Apostle said, it's 50-50.
Okay.
What is stopping you, or what is not allowing you? Is it your own mindset? Is it your heart? Is it your honor? Or is it just there's an anomaly in the equation, and I haven't done it because the opportunity was, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What
I like
will
that.
be the value of before the wedding to have a day whereby you want to enterrer ta jeunesse?
Okay.
That we all doing here. How do you call that?
The day before the marriage, the wedding.
What's it called?
I forgot the name of it.
Bridesmaids.
No, not bridesmaids. There's a specific day whereby they go out, they want to lose themselves.
Yeah, it's
I completely forgot it.
Bride's party in the men.
Why will be the value of it if already you've done everything?
Everything, yeah.
So that's where I end.
Yeah. On my very, very last question to you, Apostle, I watched this video no longer, and it's right now on actually Instagram, whereby this man is talking to another man interview, and then he's mentioning how that, you know, before buying a, you know, I mean, if you want to buy something, it's important to taste it first, right? Yeah, if you want to buy something, you need to taste it first. And how can you just go, for example, in, you know, Primark, I don't know, Gucci or wherever, you want to buy the clothes, but you just buy it like that. No, you need to try the clothing first before you leave. And he was stating it the same thing as the woman, how about you need to taste before getting it. So what do you say when it comes to this
Again,
video?
we're talking about value. Glory. You don't sell your glory for someone to test before to marry you. So how many testers are you gonna have? Because there's many men who are asking you to, who are telling you they want to marry you, but they never married you. This is how you're losing your value.
Yeah, I mean, because they say like you need to see them naked first.
That you are just saying it. Keep your clothes on until, I mean, in the secret of your intimacy relationship, I don't think while you are preparing your marriage, you are called to do all every day. You are losing your value. Even if this man really proposes and is the very right person. Now, even when you meet together to have a tea or a dinner or or what you call a date.
A date.
You don't date every day to lose your value. Give respect to yourself, and then wait for the right day and the right time. You will do it every day. You know the last why. It is important to keep it. Because when you will enter in the marriage, this man will not feel the desire to have you regularly because he's been used for the 2 or 1 year of your fiancé to have you. You've been sleeping with him when he wanted and how he wanted it. So when now you get married, what next? Without even know him realizing, he's behaving with you as if he knows you already. Give this man the desire to desire you, to want you. Okay? Yeah, that's what I can say.
All right, guys, last word before we end the show of Étincelle. It's been an absolutely pleasure, to have Emylie and to have Apotre talking on how difficult it is, to keep your glory, in this time, in our generation. Last word before we end.
Just to touch on what you said about the video, I think that's another temptation. That is literally, and I was laughing because it's so I'm sorry for it's so stupid. It's like, how can you say that about a woman? How can you talk of a woman like that as if she's a piece of meat or something you'll buy? And I feel like that's what men forget is, we are the same. If we look at ourselves, I wouldn't look at a man and say, get naked right now, I want to see. It's not like that. We are more respectful, and I think the respect goes both ways. I'm not going to get married to someone who says, because I'm not marrying you because I don't know what you look naked. The whole point of the wedding night or the days of marriage is for you to have the desire and the want. So I'm not going to just give it to you because you're demanding it. And
Absolutely.
So done with it, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, it went to you, isn't it? I like that. What about you, Apostle? One last word, a word to someone who, who needs maybe an advice on when it comes to this topic, or maybe an encouragement?
I believe the topic has a lot to say.
Yeah.
We've put foundations, so now there is a lot of questions as well. Many receive as well informations, maybe want to cry on someone's shoulder. I will say I'm Apostle Mylene Mudiay, and you know where to get me. You can book me, and then we can sit down and discuss about that again. Prayer is very powerful because prayer can release someone and heal you. Forgiveness is another therapy. Forgive the past and forgive whatsoever have happened. And you, with your partner, being humble enough to admit the fact that, you didn't come together as virgin people, but you can walk out your relationship together to make it as if it was really the very first time. Or, again, for those who are still having it, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Take care of your environment and wait for the right time. The Lord will send you the right person, I believe. This is what I can say.
Yeah, I like it. And I just want to answer on this topic as well, on how difficult it is, to keep your glory. I feel like fashion has also major part to play on this on this topic, on what we're talking about. Why? Because everything, as we mentioned, has been sexualized, but we haven't mentioned the clothing on how we are presenting ourselves to the world. Back in the day, if we're talking about Victorian, they had long dresses and it was so heavy to carry. You won't really see, that nakedness. You won't be able to know even how they look inside. If you have to look at other places, it's just the more time is going forward, it's the clothing that was so big is just going smaller and smaller. So you are size 16, but you're wearing clothing that is size 12. It's not even fitting you properly you're not even protected, because if the wind blows, then how are you even going to protect yourself?
I believe there must be a second session.
Exactly,
there must be another day. So, the next Étincelle, we need to talk about the fashion.
Exactly. So that's what I want to say. Sometimes is that also can tease the other half, the other person, whether it's a male or even it's a female, to fall into losing their value, losing their glory, losing their pureness. So it's important to also bear that in mind, how to really keep yourself into it. But we definitely need to come back, guys. What do you think? Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. All right, it was such a pleasure to have you, Apostle, to have you, Emylie, and thank you so much for accepting the invitation on the platform of ETINCELLE. It was me, Gracia, Susuzande, and I hope that this show brought so much joy and so much advice, so much things in your mind in order to take the confusion of your head, you know, and to take all the guiltiness out of your heart, to take all the things that should not be in your heart or even in your daily life, honestly, in order for you to move forward towards a better future, towards a better, you know, destination, because there's so much for you and it's all joy. So we're going to meet again next week on the same platform, ETINCELLE, and I hope that you are going to connect so many other people in order to create a much bigger audience. Thank you so much for your presence, and we'll see you soon. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.